Hey, what is going on, guys? My name is Chris and welcome back to another video. Now in today's video we're going to be talking about trading 212 as always, and today I'm going to be talking about the 3 different options and the ways in which you can use the Trading 212 app to invest into the stock market. And so I thought I'd make this video today really because when I first got into investing, first started using Trading 212, I was aware that there was sort of 3 different options when there was a CFD, the Invest and the ISA account. But being completely honest, at that time, I didn't really know the ins and outs of each account and what the difference is and the benefits of each different versions of those accounts were. So for me, I was sort of going in a bit blind and just sort of went down the middle and went for the Invest account. Looking back and reflecting, maybe I should have sort of done some more research and thought about it a bit more and actually realised that there may be better options out there for me, especially within the Trading 212 account side of the platform. So in today's video, we're going to be breaking down all 3 versions within Trading 212, and hopefully it will help you decide which is the best way in which you want to invest your money and which is the right account setup for you. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Okay, so let's get into the first of the 3 different accounts that you could be using within Trading 212. Now, the first one that we're going to be talking about is the CFD side of the business. Now, the CFD side, well, I'll be completely honest, I have the least amount of experience with the CFD side. I believe for good reason, but let's get into the facts and the reasons why you might want to be into the CFD side. Now, CFD stands for Contract for Difference. So essentially, how it works is basically within the CFD side, you can invest into all the similar companies that you can within the Invest and the ISA side, but the fundamental difference is you do not own any share or any part of those companies. Like within the Invest account or the ISA account that I've mentioned before, if I buy a stock or buy a share in Apple, I buy 1 share in Apple. With the CFD side of things, is completely different. Essentially, what you're doing is you're betting, you're hedging your bets to say whether the price is going to go up or down. So essentially, if I was looking at a CFD side of things, that I could bet that the Apple stock price will decrease, and I can bet on that, and I can put my hard-earned cash against that and bet my way to making myself a millionaire. Now, the CFD side of thing is way more inclined for the day trading kind of approach, the quick wins, the 10xing, the 30xing. So for people like me who the strategy is to invest and hold and invest over a long period of time, it really doesn't quite fit within my approach and my strategy. And one of the most concerning things or things to bear in mind is even when you set up your CFD account within Trading 212, you get forced with this little message, essentially saying that 76% of traders or people who invest within the CFD side of the thing lose money. Now, if that's not alarming enough, I don't know what is. I mean, basically saying that way over half, nearly 80%, 76% of people lose money within the CFD side of things. Now, I'm a risk-averse kind of guy. I like to put my money into the safest, most secure ways I can. So the CFD side isn't my approach and isn't the way that I'm going to be managing my money. But, who's to say that I'm right with that? I mean, just basically what I would say is if you're interested in the CFD side, make sure you're doing your research, make sure you're putting a lot of time into how you're going to approach the CFD side. Like I said, 76% of people lose money, and that will be people that have done their research and have thought about it a little bit. So don't go into this blind. Really think about how you're going to be using the CFD side. There's Forex kind of things in there as well, which again angles itself towards the day trader, buy low, sell high on the same day, and that kind of approach. But as many times as you could 10x your money, you could 10x your losses as well. So bear that in mind. when you're thinking about the CFD side. Like I said, it won't be part of my approach, and you probably won't be seeing it much on this channel. But if that is something you're interested in too, I'm sure there'll be plenty of videos on the CFD side of things within Trading 212. Okay, and now finally, let's talk about the invest/ISA accounts. Now, being completely honest, there's not too much difference between the ISA and the invest account. Their functionality is very much the same. They allow you to invest into the companies you want. They allow you to buy and sell what you want. They allow you to invest into different ETFs. It allows you to get the dividends. All that kind of good stuff is the same, basically, between the two. But there is one subtle difference, one actually pretty good difference between the two. So essentially, the ISA account allows you to invest up to £20,000 a year within that account, tax-free. All your dividends, all the money that you invest, any of the profits that you make on there, up to the value of £20,000 is tax-free. Now that is massive within the UK, especially we don't want to be giving our hard-earned investments to the taxman, and that is something that you can avoid with the ISA account within Trading 212. However, one thing just to bear in mind though, if you have opened up an ISA account in the same financial year, so April to April, if you have opened an ISA account, then you won't be able to create an ISA account within Trading 212. That's one stipulation, that you can only have one ISA allowance utilization and one ISA account per financial year. So if it's past April, which we definitely are by now, means, and if you've got an ISA account open, that means you're going to have to wait until you can open your ISA side of Trading 212. However, if you don't have an ISA open, then fill your boots. I would suggest getting an ISA account. Like I said, you avoid all those tax write-offs and tax payables, and you can write that off and you don't have to kind of pay any of that tax side of thing, especially on your dividends and especially on kind of any growth stocks that you have as well. And for us small-time investors, that is good news. So that goes me on to the invest side of the app. Now, again, if you're utilizing your ISA allowance year on year and you still want to use Trading 212, then it does leave you the invest side of the app. Again, it does mean you're liable to tax and some of your gains and your dividends and your growth tax and growth gains, sorry, I should say, and are taxable. So, I mean, it's a bit of a downside, and unfortunately, it is the mistake that I made when starting investing within Trading 212. When I was creating my account, when I was signing myself up to Trading 212, I didn't have this video to help me out. So I went straight ahead and started investing my hard-earned money into the investor account, which I know obviously I'm not near sort of, you know, taking that money out. My aim is to kind of keep the money in there and invest over a long period of time. But what it does mean is if I do take any of that money out, I could be taxed on that income or that profit margin. So again, not ideal, but learn from my mistakes and invest into the ISA account. That is what I will be doing. I will start to transition some of my investments into the ISA account and maximizing and utilizing my ISA allowance. So if you are thinking about starting with Trading 212 and you're looking at the three options that you have to your hand, I would say ISA is the one I would recommend, as long as you haven't utilized your ISA allowance in this financial year. Then below that, the invest account, again, like I said, it's exactly the same as the ISA side. You can invest into what you can, but the tax man is going to come knocking when you sell some of those stocks for the sweet profit that I'm sure you'll be selling them for. Then at the bottom of that list is the CFD side. Now, the contract for difference side of things, it's just a risky game. I mean, if Trading 212 is going to put a disclaimer in saying 76% of people lose money, then to me, it's just an area that I do not want to be going into. I'm not educated enough. I have no idea how to spot trends in the market and look at graphs and have any idea in the ways in which I can make a profit. And again, if I spent £100 on the CFD side, I could end up with a loss of 300, 400, 500. And I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. And there's no way I'm going to be risking my money at those kind of potential losses. At least with the investing side,
invest in ISA side, if I invest £500 and lose I could only lose £500. I mean, a loss of 500 isn't great, but it's not £1,000 if it was on the CFD side. So CFD is saying right at the bottom, and in a do not recommend. I wouldn't recommend the CFD side unless you're loaded and just want to sort of have a go and play around with it. If you do want to play around with it, there is a practice account which can help you out and fill your boots. But hopefully that has helped. Rambled a little bit there, but basically they're the three different options that you've got to you: CFD, ISA, and the invest account. And ultimately the ISA is the way to go. So hopefully this video has helped. If it has, then if you could drop a like on today's video, that really does help me out. I keep saying it, but genuinely, a small channel like mine, every like helps get my videos out to a new person, a new audience, and hopefully grow this little community that we're going on here. I'm closing in on 100 subscribers, I should say, getting towards that. So if you do want to subscribe, then I would highly recommend that you do, because you can keep seeing more of this, and I'll keep providing Trading 212 content for you guys. And if there's anything you do want to see from me, or any topics you want me to cover in a future video, then do leave that down in the comment section and I'll be sure to make a video on it. Anyway, until next time, I'll see you guys later.